Hello everyone, it is time for a new video and today we're going to be talking about top 23 adult romances that I read in 2023. So usually people do this kind of number of the year, you know, for the things like 24 books to read in 2024, which I will be doing. But I was avoiding this video. I wanted to not do this because I was just like, there's no way for me to narrow this down. And this was like the lowest number that I could go to. And I still had to sacrifice some books that, you know, I was unhappy to sacrifice, but put this together. I did not like the thought of not making this video because like I obviously loved these books with my whole heart and I want to tell you about them. And honestly, most of these became like new all-time favorites and I would consider them books that I just like want to reread a million times and they mean everything to me. And I just read so many amazing books. And I read 235 books, and so obviously out of that, like, it is impossible. And so this is not even like all the books, you know, it's just adult romance. And even though I mainly just read adult romance, I did have other books that are not in this genre that I absolutely loved. So let me know if you would like to see a video where I talk about the books that are not adult romance. That would be a lower number, so, you know, that's good. But yeah, we're gonna talk about some incredible books that I think you should all read. And I will go in chronological order of how I read it. I have my Goodreads here and let's just get straight in because this is gonna be very long. So the first book that I have to mention that I read at the beginning of the year is Resting Witch Face by Juliet Cross. I have talked about Juliet Cross before. I love her so much. Even though I see more and more people talk about her books, I think that everyone should read this series. It is just incredibly fun, amazing adult paranormal romance. It gives me kind of like the 2013 vibe of paranormal romance when we were all obsessed with it and just like was so like indulgent and addictive, but it feels like a little bit more modern and, you know, it's just everything. It's everything to me. I actually have been procrastinating on reading the last book of this series. I have been wanting to reread the whole thing and then read that one. So we will definitely be doing that this year, but this one is a second chance romance where they have to work together and, you know, all that forced proximity, and it was absolutely everything. Again, just like so fast-paced, steamy, fun, sweet, romantic. Everything I could ever want in a romance, especially like a paranormal one. And yeah, I will try not to like, you know, gush about every single book because like I want to give you some details, but also like, you know, I don't want this to be 1,000 years long. If you want to hear my thoughts, I vlogged about most of this. The next book I do not have physically, but it is What If You and Me by Roni Lauren. Actually reminds me that I will be cheating in this video. I will count books in a series as one book, because if I did not do that, I would lose my mind and we would never stop talking. So in this one, I would count Yes and I Love You, which is actually the first book in the series that I read second, and then What If You and Me by Roni Lauren. These books, honestly, I absolutely do need to read this. I need to get this physically so that I can reread it. It meant absolutely everything to me. I described it on Goodreads as two heartbroken people with a lot of trauma fall in love and give each other the love they deserve. And it just like healed my soul. Honestly, I felt so seen and so just like it filled me with so much love and it was just absolutely everything. And I need to actually check if Roni Lauren has books coming out this year because I need every single one of them. So these books are everything to me, and at first I did not read it because I thought it would be literary fiction. It is most absolutely not. It is adult romance. Okay, then I have a book that I actually own but I cannot see anywhere and I was too lazy to go look for it further, and that is Twisted Games by Anna Huang. So, you know, I mean, this series is extremely popular and I have actually only read the first book and then this book, and I think this is the book that I've heard the most about, and for good reason, which is because this is a princess and a bodyguard romance, and there's just something so special about a romance like that, and the forced proximity, all the angst, everything about it. Like, you know, they can't be together because he's her bodyguard. She also has to like marry a royal and all that shit, and this book is very long, but I felt like it deserved all, like it needed all that page time and I enjoyed the fuck out of it. And this is another book that I absolutely want to reread because I mainly listen to it on audio actually, but it is incredible. Then we have Funny Feelings by Tara DeWitt, and this is a single dad romance, and it also has best friends to lovers and fake dating, and all these things I absolutely love, especially best friends to lovers and single parent. And it is just so sweet and romantic and steamy and fun, and I absolutely fell in love with Tara DeWitt the second I read this book. And also, I counted these previously, but if the number is wrong in the end, do not call me out because I'm not counting it right now. I do not have the space capacity in my brain to do that. So let's hope I remembered it right. But you know what? If I tell you one more book, I will not mind. So then we have another book that is incredibly special to me, and that is Before We Fall by Rosie Adams. This is a book that I procrastinated on for a while because I knew that it would hit me in the feels extremely hard. And this is an incredibly emotional romance, definitely the most like heart-wrenching romance that Rosie has written. Also, I think it's her longest book, and it is absolutely everything. So this one does deal with an abusive relationship, and our heroine is escaping it, and the romance is obviously with someone else. And it is about Tasha and Cole, and the two of them just mean everything to me. The romance is so sweet and healing and beautiful, and it does have some triggering things in it, so you know, make sure you're ready to read this book when you pick it up. But it is absolutely incredible and so beautiful, so powerful and wonderful. And if you are able to read this book, I would highly recommend it. Okay, then we have two books that took the whole book community by storm, and that is Part of Your World and Yours Truly by Abby Jimenez. So this is the incredibly ugly UK edition, and I love these books so much. So again, I read both of these. We're counting it as one because that's just what we're doing, and I adored the shit out of them. Like, you know, I feel like so many people have talked about these and they mainly say the same thing, which is what I feel as well. These are incredibly beautiful romances. I think I won't actually describe in detail because, again, if so many people have talked about it, and I have already been talking for 8 minutes. I felt like the characters were so real and so beautiful, and I felt so connected to them. And after I read Part of Your World, I was just like, there's no way I can love Yours Truly as much, and then I absolutely did. And I also absolutely want to reread these, and I will cherish them forever. So then we have The Fiancé Farce by Alexandria Bellefleur. I was anticipating this book so hard, and it did not disappoint. This also remains one of my favorite covers of all time. And this is a sapphic romance where they basically pretend to be engaged, and so it has fake dating and amazing communication, and it is so fun and wonderful. It has some found family vibes as well, and it is so sweet and so fun and steamy and wonderful, and I just adore Alexandra Bellefleur. And I feel like even though she is like a beloved author, I need more people to read her books, and so if you have not read this yet, you definitely need to check it out. Then I have a book that I have not heard almost anyone talk about, but I absolutely adored it, and that is The Decoy Girlfriend by Lily Vale. So I have most absolutely discovered that I love books about actors. Anything that has to do with it, I just eat it up. And this one has a very fun and a little bit funny setup where basically our heroine looks a lot like a very popular famous actress, and she sort of pretends to be her to get into like clubs and shit like that, like pretty innocent things, but people just like kind of assume it's her, and she never like says it, but you know, she lets them go along with it. And then, you know, the actual actress finds out, and she's like, you know, you have been doing that, I don't like it, but you know what, you can actually serve a purpose, which is that she would fake date the actress's co-star and as her, like pretending to be her and also pretending to date him. So it's this like really funny fake dating situation, and I hope that I described it well. It's not chaotic, I promise. It maybe sounded chaotic, but it is like a really funny setup that I feel like is done so well. It is so fun, it's fast-paced, it's sweet, it's amazing. I loved it so much. I need to read more books by Lily Vale, and I think that more people should read this. This is also like really short. It's pretty much like, it's 300 pages. If you would like to read a fast, amazing, lighthearted romance, you need to check this out. Okay, so then we have two books by Elsie Silver, which is Powerless and Reckless. And I actually could put the entire Gold Rush Ranch series along with that because I read the whole thing this year, and I mean last year. Even that on its own says a lot. And I mean, a lot of people have also talked about Elsie Silver, so I'm not gonna like, I also talked about her all the time, and so I'm not gonna get too deep into it, but I love the Gold Rush series. I honestly consider all of those my favorites as well, but I have these physically, so that's what I'm gonna focus on. This series means everything to me. I think they're incredibly fun, wonderful romances. They are definitely very like steamy romances, and I feel like some people have mentioned that they feel just like very smut heavy and there's no substance to them. I personally disagree. Like, they are fun, indulgent, addicting romances. Definitely not like the most emotionally deep romances there are, but I do think most of them have quite a lot of emotional depth in it. And just, I love them. I think that they are actually well balanced when it comes to the plot and the characters. They're very focused on the characters and the romance. I love the fan family in it. It is just amazing to me, at least. And this is Best Friends to Lovers, and we love to see that. I loved this book so much. It's also about the heroine getting out of a shitty relationship, and I love books like that, and it was everything to me. And Reckless is basically like a secret baby situation, which as on its own it did not sound that exciting to me. This also actually has the heroine with getting out of a divorce, and she has a one-night stand, and then there's the baby, and shit goes on from there. So love this series, love these so much, and that's that. Okay, then we have another book that took the romance community by storm, and I'm so happy it did. And that is The 7-Year Slip by Ashley Poston. So I already adored the shit out of the Dead Romantics. I have been reading Ashley Poston since her Geekerella era, which was honestly, like, at this point, maybe, I actually am not gonna say the years. I don't know the years. I don't want to think about that. Like, but I read her YA books as a teenager, and now I'm reading her adult books as an adult, and it means everything to me. And I feel so connected to her characters and her writing. I think it's just like, it goes so deep. It makes me feel, it feels so human and so real and so beautiful and romantic. And this book is everything to me. We basically have our heroine who moves into her aunt's apartment who passed away, and she always told her stories that this apartment can like travel through time, sort of, that like it can put you 7 years forward or behind, and she falls in love with a guy who is also living there, and she's like, I'm supposed to live here, what are you doing here? But her aunt actually is letting him stay there 7 years before. And it is just such a beautiful and special romance. It means so much to me, and I adored the shit out of it. Another book that I adored the shit out of is another book that a lot of people have fallen in love with for a good reason, which is Before I Let Go by Kennedy Ryan. I'm so happy that Kennedy Ryan is getting the love that she deserves, because she is an absolutely incredible author, and I love her books so much, and this one is no exception. It is a second chance romance where they're divorced and they're co-parenting and also working together, and it is like very raw and emotional, just like every single book by Kennedy Ryan. And I always procrastinate on it because it obviously, like, you need to have a lot of emotional investment in it. And it can hurt, you know, but the thing that I think is so incredibly powerful about romances that deal with painful things is that there's the guaranteed happy ending at the end. And I think it's such an incredible way to actually process feelings and emotions in a way that you know you're gonna be okay in the end. And I inhaled this book. I thought that I could like not bear to read it all at once, because it was just like making me feel so much. But then I was just like, I need to get to the point where everything is well and they're happy and loved, and this book is everything. And if you have not read it yet, you need to pick it up. So then we have Will They or Won't They by Ava Wilder, which is another one of the acting romances. And oh my god, I already fell in love with Ava Wilder when I read How to Fake It in Hollywood, I think, which is another actor romance. And that is like the point where it's just like, okay, I love this so much. And this was another case where I adored the shit out of this book. I just inhaled it. It was so fun, and I have not really heard anyone talk about this, and I need more people to read her books because they are incredible. So not only is it set around acting, but we have a second chance romance where there are two main characters who starred in this super popular like paranormal TV show years ago, and the heroine basically left because they kind of developed, you know, a relationship off screen, and they broke up, and she left, and now she's back for the final season. And so obviously they have to work together again, and there's just so much pining and so much chemistry. It is so addicting, so beautiful, steamy, and fun, and absolutely everything I could ever want. And I highly, highly, highly recommend this book, and I need Ava Wilder's next book right this second. So the next two books are also two books that where the fuck is the second one? Also, you do not want to see the mess that I have around me of all the books. The reason why I also didn't want to do this was just that I knew I would wreck my shelves really hard. You know what? Hopefully it's gonna be worth it. And that is B.K. Borison. So I read In the Weeds and Mixed Signals. Yes, these are different covers. This is the indie one and this is the traditionally published one. You know, I don't care because I love these books so much, and I read both of these. And you know what I read? I could not choose. Because like I heard so many people love this book. It's kind of also like a slight second chance where they have a one night stand and the heroine kind of like leaves without a word, and now she's back in town and they are in each other's proximity again. And then there's like a roommate situation. It is absolutely everything. And I loved this so much. And then I was just like, I wasn't sure. I was scared I wouldn't love this as much. And then honestly, this one just meant so much to me. It was absolutely everything. I feel like there is something special in this book that I connected to in a way that maybe I didn't even connect to in this one. But both of these are just like absolute favorites for me. And I love B.K. Borison so much, and I'm so happy that she got picked up by a publisher and that she's gonna have more books, and I'm so happy. I found actually so many new favorite authors, and I feel so lucky, and I'm so grateful that I, you know, can live at a time that all these authors are writing all these incredible books, and it is just such a magical and beautiful thing that I will never get over. So then we have a book that everyone has heard about, and that is Love Theoretically by Ali Hazelwood. Obviously, Ali Hazelwood's books are some of the most hyped books of our generation, but I think it's for good reason, and this book was a lot of people's favorite, and including me. I ate this book up. I felt like this one went even deeper in the emotions than any of her other books, and I felt so connected to the characters. I thought that the love story was just so beautiful and so meaningful, and I related to so much of the heroine's experiences, and it was just so beautiful. And I will also not describe this because we do not have time, and you have probably heard of this book. A book that you might not have heard about is Thank You for Listening by Julia Whalen. So I read this in my pink covers video, and I was not going to read this book, honestly, because again, I thought this was literary fiction, which there's nothing wrong about, obviously, but I do not really like literary fiction. I want romance, and most of the time. And this is a romance though, and we have an audiobook narrator who basically two audiobook narrators have to narrate a romance novel, and the heroine has basically not been narrating romances anymore, and she's kind of like hurting, you know, and struggling when it comes to love. And this is about finding herself, and she also used to be an actress basically, and then she started narrating books, and her acting career fell apart because of an injury, and it's just like so much about her journey, about so much about this beautiful love story, and this book meant everything to me, and I need more people to read it. It does have some painful things in it, but I thought they were all dealt with so beautifully, and it again felt so human and real and wonderful, and I loved it so much. And then we have another book that I felt very similarly about, and that is Georgie All Along by Kate Claiborne. So this is my first book by Kate Claiborne, and you know, it was love at first page for this book and Kate Claiborne, and I have since read more from her, and I can say that she has also become one of my new favorite authors, and this meant everything to me as well. Honestly, this is most absolutely a favorite, like an all-time favorite, and I can say that seriously about all these books, okay? But we also have Georgie finding herself set in this small town, and she just kind of wants to start fresh, and she finds like an old notebook that she used to write in when she was a teenager, and it also has the trope of like both the main characters think that they're supposed to live in this house, and they, you know, are like, oh wait, you're here as well, and like, you know, we have to figure out a way to make this work, and one of us has to leave, but in the meantime they fall in love. And I love forced proximity. I love the roommates trope, and so that trope is everything to me. But honestly, This book just touched me so deeply and it meant everything to me. And I am counting down the days to the next book by Kate Claiborne, and I need to buy her backlist as well because this was perfection. And we're getting close to the end, but I need to really speed up because my camera is flashing. So the next book is Morbidly Yours by Ivy Fairbanks. I fell in love with this book immediately as well. So this was Ivy's first book, and honestly, it is a masterpiece, and I cannot believe that is her first book. I wouldn't call it Grumpy Sunshine. It's more like the quiet, mysterious one and the sunshine one, and they're neighbors, and it is just like so beautiful, so sweet, romantic, and steamy, and wonderful. It's set in a small town in Ireland, and oh my god, this meant everything to me as well, and I need a physical copy immediately. And it also got picked up by a publisher and along with like another book or two, and I need it now. Then I have Heartbreaker by Sarah MacLean, which is a historical romance, and this series, this whole series, the first and the second book, I just got the third book, is everything. It is just, it has like independent heroines who are doing all kinds of things. They're slightly illegal to like make the world a better place for women especially, and the romances are to die for. It is so swoon-worthy. It is so addicting, so wonderful. Oh my gosh, I still have multiple books to tell you about. Fuck. Okay, Time to Shine by Rachel Reed. This is a hockey romance and a roommate's romance, and I love Rachel Reed so much. Her books are so emotional and raw and beautiful and sexy and fun and queer, and they're absolutely everything to me. This book had like so many like caring scenes in it as well that like overwhelmed me in the best way possible, and if you have not read it yet, you need to get on that. And we have two more books, which is these two. So Iris Kelly Doesn't Date by Ashley Herron Blake, which is a sapphic romance. It is her newest book where the two main characters kind of like have a bit of a hookup that goes wrong, and then they find out they're starring in the same play together, and so there's forced proximity. There's some like teaching about really how to be more comfortable with casual relationships situation, and it is so wonderful. I love the series so much. Incredible perfection. And then I have Tastes Like Shakar by Nisha Sharma, which I'm going to talk about in an upcoming vlog, actually this Saturday or Sunday, and so I don't have to tell you much about it, thank God, because I really don't have time anymore. But I've not heard anyone talk about this book, and I loved it so much. We have like an enemies to lovers. They have to work together to solve who is trying to ruin the wedding of their common best friends. So the camera did, of course, cut me off very rudely, but that's okay because I do actually still have one more book to tell you about. But yeah, if you have not checked out, I also got my nails done, so in the meantime. But if you have not checked out this book, it is seriously so much fun. It is by the author of Dating Dr. Dill, which was very popular, and I don't know, maybe like people had mixed opinions on that. I personally enjoyed it, but I loved this even more. And the couple who's getting married in this is the couple from Dating Dr. Dill, so definitely recommend this. And last but by no means least, we have The Neighbor Favor by Christina Forrest. I just talked about this in a vlog, and I loved this book so much. If you did not know, Christina Forrest writes YA romance as well, and I know that not everyone who reads adult romance reads YA romance, but they are absolutely amazing YA romances. Definitely more towards like the older YA, and I love them so much. But this is her first adult romance that just was so sweet and nerdy and amazing. It has kind of like the pen pals trope where they become friends through emails, and then, you know, fate makes them meet in person without them knowing, and one of them might find out, and you know, shit like that. And they both love books, and it's just like absolutely wonderful, and you all should read it if you have not yet done so. So that will be it for this video. I really hope it ended up being 23. If it was not, you know, like, I'm not good at math, I don't like math, and I could count to 23, but you know, I did not. But there is a high chance, you know, but in the title, it's gonna be all satisfying 23 books in 2023, like we love to see it. So I'm gonna shut up now. Let me know what books you loved in 2023, and again, tell me if you would like me to talk about the other genres as well. And yeah, so if you made it this far in the video, leave like the medal or like some kind of award emoji, and yeah, thank you so much for watching. Have a great day, and I'm gonna see you soon in another video. Bye!